This is a New York City property report. I have multiple reports open to show everything you might find in New York City, starting with a residential property in the Bronx. As this property has one active lien, you'll see a notification in red at the top of the report indicating such. Below is a photo of the property provided by Google. Clicking the arrow will show an older photo from the New York City Department of Finance. You'll see the property on a map, and clicking this tab allows you to apply various overlays such as satellite, flood, tax parcel, and zoning. Below, you'll find property information such as the address and legal ID, including the block and lot, and the ownership summary, which contains the owner from the tax roll, their address, and any buyers on the most recent deed. Since this property has an active lien, you'll get the names and addresses of any defendants. To the right is a link to the Department of City Planning page, which you can click on. Clicking the Additional Location Details link shows school district, city council, fire company, and police precinct. Moving along, on the left side of the property report, we see building information, starting with a link to the New York City Department of Buildings overview, which brings up the building department's profile on this property, showing any certificates of occupancy, violations, and other building records. Below that is the class, building dimensions, square footage, and units, among other details. For a complete list of class codes in New York City, click on this link which says View List of Building Classification Codes. GeoData provides 2 square footages for every New York City property report. The New York City square footage is what the city has on record for the property, and the calculated square footage is determined by GeoData, multiplying the dimensions by the floors or height. The reason GeoData gives both is so that you have as much information on the property size as possible, as sometimes the New York City square footage is not always accurate. There's also a link that shows the details of the square footage, displaying how much of the building is residential versus retail, office, manufacturing, or other use types. Next is the floor area ratio, which is the comparison of the size of the building versus the size of the lot. Then there's sound score, which measures noise factors such as business, vehicle, and airport traffic to give an overall rating of how loud the area is. In the middle column below ownership summary is lot info such as dimensions, acres, area, and type, and flood info. Flood Zone X means the property is not located in a flood zone. If it's any other code, it's in some level of a flood zone. To the right, below location info, are your zoning details, current taxes, and assessed value for the property. Maps will bring you to various external websites such as zoning and tax maps. Beneath are any listed telephone numbers at the property, sales history, details on the active liens, and recorded documents such as deeds and mortgages. Next, we'll look at a commercial income producing property. While similar to the residential property, there's an income and expense report at the bottom, which consists of rental income broken down into various categories, and then other ancillary incomes. On the right is the breakdown of operating expenses with the net before and after real estate taxes. I'm now showing you this next property because there's a for sale listing on it. In addition to the Google and Department of Finance photos, you'll notice multiple photos of the property, both interior and exterior. Under property information, below your taxes and assessment, you'll see the most recent listing on the property, with its status, room details, price, and date listed. There's also a link to the history of listings on the property. At the top of the report, we can do a new search, sign out, go back to the previous page, print our report, or find comparables.